I think Abraham Lincoln said it as well. By the way, I'm
Really?
going off this whole philosopher thing that I was talking about in the first segment. He said it's not the number of years in your life, but the amount of life in your years. See, everybody talks about it. So we're going to blow the hatch off it today and talk about how you actually do it.
Yes.
It's exciting, huh? So let's frame this with stories. Okay? We've been together for 11 years. 11 years ago this past weekend, as a matter of fact. It was our family anniversary. And I'm thinking about how I lived in Chicago. You lived in a suburb outside of Montreal. I basically packed a duffel bag, put it in the front seat of my car, drove 17 hours, we started life together. Not long after I moved, I was kind of the impetus behind this. I didn't want to live in the suburbs anymore. I'm a city kid. So we sold your house and moved to a reasonably small apartment in what would be considered proximal downtown Montreal. So then we had a city existence.
Yep.
Moved from that place, we were there for about 3 years. Right? That was the longest place we've been so far.
Yeah.
We moved from that place to another apartment, also proximal downtown Montreal, so we're still city living. Got a country home for like as a weekend retreat kind of thing.
Yeah.
That we ended up moving to because the whole family fell in love with
After
it.
1 weekend of being there.
Yeah, that was a big 2-story, 3-level monstrosity of a house on 2 acres of land with no neighbors and at the top of a mountain in the middle of a forest. And we lived there for a couple of years. And then we moved down to Miami.
Yep.
Started doing work with Slam Radio and Slam Schools at Large and Pitbull. And so we were in Miami for just over 18 months. And now we've relocated, we're up in Central Florida. And that's the first time I've said up.
Right.
Because when I think Florida, I always think down.
There's not much more down from where we were.
Well, we were on the Atlantic Ocean.
Right.
There's no down, but we moved about 3 hours north. I'd say we're Central Florida, we're kind of in the middle between Tampa and Orlando. But we are in small town Podunk, America.
It's awesome.
It really is. Like there's not. I mean, we live in a what's it called? Like a
bungalow?
a subdivision neighborhood. Very quiet. Nothing but young families. But you can tell what this all sprang from. Like there are a myriad of subdivisions in this area that have a cluster of maybe a couple hundred houses each. But all of the rest of this is farmland.
Right.
This is farm country.
Yeah.
And with a few clusters of subdivisions here and there. So we are in Podunk, USA. And we love it. It's quiet.
It is.
It is very different than the bustle of Miami.
It's so cute.
Yes.
There's a small town, little street. It's awesome. Little main street.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
I know.
I've only been here for 2 days.
I know.
Yeah. You're gonna take me though.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. But it's not even about where we live or where we've lived and how we've moved. That's just kind of part of it all. But it does speak to the greater issue. People want to put more, or they want to live more in their lives. And for a lot of people, that does include moving around. Like my mom's a great classic example. She has lived now in the same house my mom has, for 72 years. 72 years my mom has lived in the same house. That's extreme.
Right.
But I know personally a lot of people who, whenever we move, I get the same text from them. Man, I wish I had the gumption you guys have. I wish I had the courage you guys have. It doesn't take gumption or courage. It takes a set of secret sauce things. You just have to kind of understand them.
Right.
And everything about your life changes when you do.
Yeah.
Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's a good show, eh?
I'm excited.
And our dog is starting to get willy over there.
Maxwell has decided it's time to come out of the cage.
You can't.
I know that you have a bunch of things written down. So can I just? So what I'm about to say might be in your list of things, because I think you have like one of our 5-point lists or something like that.
Well, I wasn't actually going to our secret sauce yet.
Okay, good. So
Do you
what?
want to add something?
Well, my
different?
point is I might say something that's in the secret sauce.
Fine.
So I'm just gonna talk. I was saying this before, and now I can't remember if I said this live or if I said this to Frank, and I think I said it to Frank. I can't remember. But when we moved to Miami, one of the things that I started adopting was the language of like, we live here right now. Right?
Yeah.
Because like
we were live when you said that.
Yeah,
That's
right.
a great point.
But I think like you have to like frame it all out. Like the language, like the rhetoric, never say never, right? And it's like people say, I'm never gonna live in the city. I'm never gonna live in this. I'm never gonna leave here. I'm never gonna leave there. I'm never gonna do this. And you don't realize how much that language is actually locking you in because
Oh, yeah.
you're not putting yourself outside of like what's possible, right? And when I really think about the reason we moved, like it was based, I mean, like our life is built this way, right? But like for me personally, because I don't want to speak for you, it was built primarily off of a feeling. Like it was a feeling of adventure. It was a feeling of new. It was a feeling of like, I wonder what it would be like to live in small town USA.
Right.
Because I've never lived in small town
Well,
USA.
same with me. I was a city kid my entire life, and then we moved up to the mountains in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And I became a country boy.
Yeah.
It's amazing what happens when you just abandon all that definition.
Yeah, and like I know by now, like with regards, and again, we're gonna talk more than just about moving, right? But I know for myself better than to ever say that, you know, we're gonna be here for any
Oh yeah.
length of time.
Yeah, we have no idea.
The
but
truth is,
this is not our final stop.
the truth is you never know. Like literally, like and like to paint the picture, we visited St. Cloud on
you just told the world where we live.
That's okay. We lived in Miami, we lived in St. Cloud, we lived in St. Cloud, who cares? We visited St. Cloud on a weekend.
We did.
Because
Came to visit some friends.
we have friends up here. And on Sunday we drove home. And on Sunday, I think I looked at you and I was like, I think I want to move to St. Cloud.
Yeah.
And you were like, I think I want to move to St. Cloud.
It's beautiful, small town, quiet living.
Right? By the time we got back to Miami, we had basically decided this is what we were going to do.
Yep.
We gave notice to our condo board or our condo association. We, on Tuesday, myself and Maya came back up to St. Cloud. We found a new home.
Yep.
By Friday of that week, we had a new home.
Yeah.
And then we started, like this was like 3 weeks ago, like a month ago.
About a month, yeah.
It's about a month, right? That we made the decision and we acted. And now there's a lot of reasons why we can do that based on the stuff that I'm sure we're going to talk about today. But it was just like, it was really like, because a couple people have asked on Facebook, like, what was the reason you did it?
Yep.
And for me, it was just like, because we wanted to.
Right. No, there wasn't a reason.
That's the reason.
We loved living in the country in the mountains.
Right.
But that didn't stop us from moving to Miami.
Exactly.
We loved living in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't stop us from coming here. Like, for us, life is a buffet.
Right.
Just taste a lot of things. You know what I mean? And, you know, it's very interesting. I'm thinking about the divergence of living here versus living in Miami.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about, I've been here now for 48 hours. And one of the things I can already track a difference of is the pace of life.
Yeah.
It's so much slower here. I don't think, is it frenetic energy?
Frenetic energy.
I don't think I realized how much frenetic energy I was feeling day to day
Yeah.
until we left Miami. There is so much noise and there are so many people. And you know what? It sounds blissful and beautiful that we lived oceanfront. We took an elevator ride down 16 floors. The elevator doors popped open and you're on the beach. It does sound beautiful, and it was.
It was. Yeah.
But lost in that story is the 14,000 tourists who are staying in the same high-rise condo that you live in. And they're there for 2 weeks, so they don't care about making a noise or making a mess or whatever else. You know what I mean? So I'm enjoying the quiet.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the solitude of our own home, the quiet town. But it does speak to the first point I wanted to raise, because it's so much bigger. It's so much larger than where we live and where we move. So you went to school. You're a licensed counselor, and you had a specific specialty as a special care counselor. Correct?
Yes.
And that would be for you explain it. I don't want to say anything wrong.
So I'm a clinical counselor. My designation is special care counselor, but that covers.
What did I say that was inaccurate?
That's not special to special needs. So I specialized initially.
I didn't say special needs.
Working with kids with special needs.
Yes, I know that. But your specialty was special care counselor. I know you're a clinical counselor.
That is the name of my clinical counseling certification.
Understood.
Yeah.
But you're smarty pants. Went to university, did all the
Yeah, that's the name of my degree.
Yeah.
Was special
And
care
so
counselor.
you're a licensed counselor. You worked in that field. You abandoned it one day. You say, you know what? I want to work in fitness. So you went and got a certification in personal training, and you made that your career for a while.
I did.
And then you kind of offshoot. You went into working with young athletes.
I did.
And then you and I got together. You offshoot again. We started doing what we do now, right? In between all of that, you were also the creative director for a fashion magazine. So you see where I'm going with this?
Right.
You've done a lot of things professionally with your career, right? For me, I was a bouncer. I was a bodyguard for A-list celebrities. I got my initial degree undergraduate is in exercise science. I started working in sport performance. Then I started working with young athletes as well. And then it all kind of careened into a PhD for me in pastoral counseling, and now I do a lot of work in mindset and emotional intelligence. The point I didn't mean to say, I was so boring to display our resumes like that. I didn't mean to sound boring. The point I'm raising is very, very simple. And this is the first of our secret sauces.
Everybody listen.
Oh, let's get a pen. You know what it is? We don't have definitions. We have never defined ourselves.
Sure.
We don't define ourselves as city dwellers, as country people, as Canadian or American. We've never defined ourselves as I am a licensed counselor. We live in a very definitionless life. But I want you to really think through that. How much of your life is spent living up to and into the expectations that either you carry for yourself or you've allowed other people to put